Hey guys, what's going on? Moo here. We are back on Questing Mayhem Hardcore Edition, at least my version of it. I will get to that momentarily though. But I do need to do some statements here at the beginning. First things first, this is my third attempt at trying to capture this episode. I had major issues happening last night when I was trying to record this episode, and the fact that whenever I was trying to record, the video just was not capturing at all. First attempt I did, it was good for about 15 or 16 minutes, and then after that, it apparently crashed out. Tried again, crashed out again, tried again, crashed out again. I was not aware of this because I'm on my laptop, so I only see the game, so I'm not able to see how the recording is going. So when I'm recording, it's up in the air. I'm literally tossing the ball up in the air, and I'm hoping I can catch it and it not whack me in the face because I lose it in the sun. Second thing, um, the reason I say this is my version of hardcore. So I'm basically going to be using this episode to kind of go over what I was already doing in those previous attempts of me recording. So as I stated in the first episode, I have my own set of rules for this hardcore. 10 death maximum, cheats enabled only for flying, no honor systems. I will be recording everything I do. That way, in case I do die, you see it. So right now we are still at 0 deaths, but let me get to the whole hardcore thing. So we open up our quest book and you see these four quests that you can complete here. I can currently claim 2 of them. I'm not going to. The reason these quests are important though is if you are doing this on full legit hardcore mode for the pack, which is different than standard hardcore mode, 1 death you're done, then what you do is you would type in either the HQM hardcore or the BQ underscore player, and that would enable this pack's hardcore mode. Now, in that mode, you have 3 deaths. So these hearts, these quarter hearts that you can get from completing these specific quests, uh, you would craft those together to get a full heart. You would then consume that heart, and it would increase that death counter from 3 to 4, 4 to 5, so on and so forth. So in a sense, I could set it up like this and then keep track of my deaths that way. I'm not going to because that's just what one extra step that I have to do, whereas the one I'm doing, it's just plain and simple. I'm good to go down the road. So, on to other things. I will get into these completed quests momentarily. First things first is I will mess with lag for a second. I will give y'all a little bit of an insight what's going on. So you see that I get into the water because lag and all that. Okay, so the flashing that's currently going on. I do have an adventurous backpack. I found one in a mob spawner. So I'll get to the mob spawner in just a second. So this backpack is the bat one, which gives me night vision, and it's on a 2-second cycle, so it is constantly in the rotating of, hey, you're about to lose the ability, or the ability is still going kind of thing. So just a little heads up there. So if you're sensitive to at least a little bit of that flashingness, I do apologize. Just giving you a fair warning. So to the mob spawner that I found one of the 4 spawner ones. This one has 2 zombies, a skeleton, and a spider. Now, I haven't been able to kill that many spiders because, as you see, it's like they climb on the walls, obviously. So they are able to fall down, and I have killed a couple of them, but it hasn't been that many. So on to base upgrades real quick. I started a little farm because I'm going to need food very, very soon. And I also went ahead and have built a smelter. So the smelter actually leads us to the quests that I did complete in those previous attempts at trying to get episode 2 recorded. So we started off the episode. I went ahead and got the Tinker's tables and stations all gathered. I grabbed me the materials in new volume 1 because I got volume 2 already. I will not be getting the reward bags unless I am forced to get it by some unforeseen circumstances. Um, I did the grout. I went ahead and got me some more coal because right now you can never be shorthanded on coal. Even later on in the pack, you still can't be shorthanded on coal. We went ahead and did the bricks and the blocks. I got more blocks. Obviously, I was forced to get that reward bag. That one either got me a particle customizer or the 8 drying racks you might have glimpsed on the wall outside. Then we went into getting the controller, the tank, the drain. I got the bucket of lava. Another item I found inside the spawner was a empty bucket, so I now have 2 buckets. We went through and crafted the sieve. I mentioned how uh, the sieve is important to an extent, but I won't be utilizing it as much. So, with how fairly simple it is to increase the resources that you do get and make them uh, not entirely easier to collect, but at least um, how you're able to stretch out your resources, at least at the very beginning of the game. The Civ is a good addition, but it doesn't really make an impact until you start getting into more automated situations. So, like for instance, when we're able to start doing crushed netherrack to help speed up the process of trying to get cobalt and ardite, or if you're wanting to sieve through a bunch of soul sand to get like the nether quartz, and there's something else you can get from soul sand that's useful. But I can't think of it at the moment, but that's where further down the line. Those are just some small examples. So we went through, we did the sieve, went ahead and grabbed more string because I can use string early game. Sand, gravel, dust. Obviously, the dust one was the one I didn't get yet, so I went ahead and grabbed it, which gave me some powdered, crushed, and broken iron ore. I'll explain why those are important to me right now in a minute. And I went ahead and grabbed more dust, because dust is one of the more useful early game Civ components, in my opinion. Then we went into the barrel, we got our barrel, we got more clay, and I went ahead and grabbed the florb of witch water because I can do another type of spawner with the witch water, and that'll come in handy later on down the line. Then we got ourselves some broken, crushed, and powdered iron ore. Again, you basically get those from the previous quest, which gives you another 16 apiece, and I went ahead and grabbed more dust. Then we have the craftable versions of those ores from broken, crushed, and powder. That's fairly obvious. I went ahead and grabbed me some copper or gravel. I do need a significant amount of silver and tin, but at the moment, I'm okay with it. I also ended up getting this chance cube. I will not be opening up chance cubes. They are way too unpredictable and they can crash out the game, especially if you get one of the world-breaking ones. So there is at least one or two recipes, if I'm not mistaken, when we start getting into extreme crafting and stuff like that, that do require chance cubes. So those are the only instances where I will be using the chance cubes as if they're in for crafting purposes only. Then we went ahead and made our clay, and this is where I'm going to get into another segment of what is good and bad or grindy about the pack. So, we all know about grout and how we need it in order to get to the seared bricks and all that kind of stuff. Well, I do have the clay blocks, for instance. The original recipe is, um, as you see, the original recipe, it's either the 4 gravel, 4 sand, clay block, you get the 8, or sand, gravel, clay ball, you get the 2. So here's where things get a bit more tricky. Normally, you'd be like, okay, well, I'll just go ahead and do the clay block one, and it'll save me one extra step, and I can basically make 4 times the amount with 4 times less of the crafting. In other packs, that's a good idea. Probably the best idea. In this pack, not so much. I would say go ahead and stick with the one that gives you the 2. Reason being, you see this clay block? You think it takes 4, right? It takes 9. So, in terms of utilizing your resources, you want to go for the simpler crafting recipe. In this case, it happens to be the one clay ball, 1 gravel, 1 sand, getting the 2 grout. Otherwise, you're going to need 2 1/4 times more clay to get the same amount. So that's where we get into the whole grindy part of this pack. Okay, it's still daytime. So why did I mention the whole, uh, sorry, there we go. Why did I mention the, uh, reason why the broken, the crushed, and all that kind of stuff is a better way to utilize the resources? So I have this stack of iron ore. I'm not going to go through the whole process because it'll take a minute, especially with the lag. But what you do is you would place the iron ore down after you mined it, get at least a stack, maybe 2 stacks, because you want to be able to get the most out of what you're doing. So you would place them down, take the hammer, break them up. As soon as you do that, then you end up getting broken iron ore. Takes 4 to craft it into the gravel version. You place all those down, you end up getting the crushed iron ore, so on and so forth. Crushed goes into sand. You break that down, you get the powdered, which turns into the dust. So this stack of iron ore that I currently have, that one stack, when all is said and done, could be turned into roughly maybe a stack and a half. In some cases, it can be even more than that. In some cases, it could be less than that. It literally just depends on how lucky you are with the drops. So I will be taking care of that a little bit later because that wrong one because that does take a bit of time. And one thing I do have at the beginning of the game that I will need to be utilizing is this copper. Copper early game is extremely important. Do not overlook copper. So, one last thing before we end this little recap episode, and then I will be doing some more stuff on here. Uh, If I'm not mistaken, which one was it? Was it this one? There we go. So it's either going to be Smelting Accessories 2 or the Mine Grind. I'm pretty sure it might have been Mine Grind. But you see how it says unlocks 2 quests elsewhere. So in order to open up the rest of this book, you need to complete certain quests. I'm pretty sure Mine Grind is the one that allowed you to open up storage. And inside storage is when we can start getting into all the different types of chests, the different furnace, the drawer system, all that kind of stuff. Now, early game, the drawer system is going to be the better one. Um, if you wanted to do the better barrels is also a decent storage system. I don't utilize that one because I don't necessarily understand it all that well. So for the most part, I will be doing drawers and I will be utilizing the big chests. And then eventually we can get into an actual ME system. And the ME system is a good long way away. I don't see us having an ME system until probably a good dozen and a half episodes. So probably around episode, I'm gonna say somewhere around episode 16 to 18, we might be getting into an ME system. That's just how grindy it is. So that is going to do it for this recap episode. I do apologize for the mishaps that I did have, but hopefully this makes up for everything and it lets y'all know what's going on. I will say I came close to dying about 3 times now. 2 of them was from drowning. And one of them was literally just before I started the recording because I went under the water there and grabbed some sand. I ended up under my farm and almost died. The other time was when I was dealing with the spawner, um, mainly because I fell into a pit of oil. You can't swim in oil. So that right there is, I would say that's one reason to have the cheats, but I didn't cheat. Um, One good thing about this pack is we do have the Journeyman's map, which does come with waypoints, and those waypoints are easy to teleport to. So when I fell in, I opened up the Journeyman map and I teleported to my home spot, which is right outside my door, and saved myself that way. So if I do die, it is going to be because I really, really messed up. Like, for instance, when I go to outer space at some point, way, 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 way down the line, I will probably die during one of those boss fights. At least once. But in the meantime, I hope y'all did enjoy this episode and or can at least, uh, I don't know. My brain decided it wasn't going to work anymore. But hope y'all enjoyed the episode. If you have any comments or suggestions for any future episodes, like what's going to be happening, or if y'all know something on this pack that I could probably be doing a little bit better, put them down in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel and you want to see future uploads, hit that subscribe button, and you will be informed on my next upload. Right now, these uploads will be very, very sporadic. I am having an issue with my regular computer, so unfortunately Dark Souls 2 will have to wait. So in the meantime, this will probably take a little bit more of a priority when it comes to uploads. Don't expect them to be on a fairly regular basis. I will try to shoot for at least once a week. Um, I would love to try to do more, But this pack is very, very grindy, and since I am doing this by myself and not with a group of people like I did a long, long time ago, the things will take a lot longer to do. So just keep an eye out. Enable notifications so you get notified whenever I do upload. And yeah, so like, comment, sub, all that kind of good stuff. And I will see y'all in my next upload. Later, guys.